there, everybody. Hopefully your day is going well. So, got some stuff on the table, and more than likely you read the title of this particular video, so you already know what's going on. But for those of you who don't know what a ramen bomb is, we're going to make a ramen bomb. so, oh man, so trail, man, hikers, backpackers, especially long haulers and so forth, definitely come up with some interesting stuff on the trail, right? And most of the time you're just trying to shove calories in your face so that you can keep going. Now, I haven't really done too much like long haul backpacking or, through hiking, so a lot of this stuff escapes me. And plus, I'm kind of a minimal eater on trail anyway. But this is like a huge calorie punch. And a lot of people have their own ramen bomb sort of recipes, different things they like to do, but it comes down to a meat, ramen, and some potato, right? Now, in this case, we are going to use regular Spam. We're going to use the sriracha chicken ramen noodle, and then we are going to use this loaded baked potato. Generally speaking, when I do potatoes, at least the Idahoans, I like the baby reds, but I didn't have any of those. So loaded baked potato is fine for this application. And essentially we would boil water. We would put our ramen in there, shake some potato, and then put in some meat. And if you're really smart, I guess, I don't know, especially with Spam, I would probably maybe, do a little heat up over the fire or something, or if you have that, maybe char it a little bit. So this is sort of an at-home perfect scenario kind of ramen bomb, but once I get some more trail trips, and if I actually think about it while I am on trail, which is not one of my strong suits, I'll probably do like a trail version. But more than likely in a trail version, I would not use Spam. I would probably take pepperonis, or you could use tuna, but I think for me, I would probably either take like pepperonis or salami if it were me. So I could just toss it in there. But again, you can mix and match. That's one of the magical things of a ramen bomb. So essentially what I am going to do is I'm going to mix everything in my pot that I would normally take with me. This is the GSI boiler. It's a 1.1 liter pot, perhaps a little big for some people, especially some of those Weight Watchers. But I like this handle, kind of affixes the lid on there so you can keep stuff in here. And I've got my little Tokes cup and my what is this? The BSR burner that I use normally. So that's already in there. But for the sake of this, we're going to get some water boiling in here, and then I will bring it back and we will kind of assemble our ramen bomb into this. And I'm probably just gonna throw this on a pan. Obviously it's not very outdoorsy. Again, we are in the house, but normally I'd probably just char it, put it on the end of my knife and char it in the fire that we have going, hopefully, or just on my burner or something like that. Get a little heat to it, because for those of you who have eaten Spam sandwiches from your grandmother, you always know that you got to char it a little bit. That's what really brings out the spamminess of the Spam. So let's start assembling our ramen bomb. All right, so normally what I would do is I would boil my water in my pot, and then I have like some heavy duty bags that I would then sort of assemble everything in. And I just looked and I don't have any of those. So we are just going to kind of do our best to essentially do this in the pot. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just breaking this up a little bit here just so I can fit it in a little bit nicer. And we'll put our ramen noodles in. We'll get them sort of going. Some of you don't break up your ramen. Normally I wouldn't either, but again, just to make sure it's in the pot nice and so forth. That's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to add our boiling water. I did boil some water. And we'll let this sit for just a wee bit to kind of, just loosen up. And then we'll start to add our potatoes. I think I'm just going to add the entire bit of that. So that should be good. And this doesn't take a ton of time, but I'm going to let it sit just for a couple seconds here. And then we'll start to add in our potatoes, and then we'll add in our little bits of Spam. All right, now that our ramen has had a little bit of time to set, I mean, that's relatively loose. I'm going to go ahead. I probably should have added this in the beginning, but we'll add our sriracha packet, or not our sriracha packet, our little flavoring packet, which I apparently didn't get a good tear on. So we'll get another tear. There we go. We'll add that in. Give it a little stir. And then I do have some backup water if I want it. Now, normally you would add the entire thing of potatoes, but when I've done this on trail, again, because I don't really eat a ton at any one given time, I also kind of like to hold some stuff back. So I would do the entire packet, but I would just start adding in potato. I mean, I suppose for this amount of water, maybe about half a bag would be pretty good, but we're essentially just sort of looking for this to, I might have enough water in here to do the entire thing, but we're just kind of looking for it to seize a little bit. But I can always come back and, have more potatoes later, or, my thing is I generally just don't like to have I don't like to have an entire bag full of something that I then pick up and eat later. I'm just weird like that. I think that's about the way I would like it personally. Yeah. And that's going to thicken up a little bit more as we let it sit. So there's still some powder in there in the pack. So I would just sort of bound that up, put it in a little plastic baggie, and then kind of save it for later. So, oh man, that smells great. Okay, and then we're just going to let that set just a little bit longer so that the potatoes can sort of do their thing. We can continue with the ramen, and then we'll go ahead and add our little pieces of meat that at this point I would just be sort of charring on my knife on a fire. All right, and then lastly, we have our little Spam chunks here. This is like a weird cooking show. It's kind of feeling like some sort of weird cooking show now. Like, I don't know, man. Next time on Diners, never mind. All right, so then we'll just mix in those little chunks. And yeah, let that all combine. And this is like a crazy hearty meal right now. So let's go ahead and get a taste. That's probably still hotter than hell. Look at that. How could you not enjoy that? Little dangly noodles and Spam. That is a wild flavor. It is a wild flavor. Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of that crazy chicken sriracha noodle and buttery potatoes and Spam pieces and so forth. Nice and crispy. I mean, it's hearty. This is going to be like crazy filling after a long day. You'll eat this and be ready to hit the sack, man. Wow. That's good though. And even if you wanted to kick it up too, if you had some hot sauce, I would add a little hot sauce. I actually thought that sriracha was going to be a little bit hotter, but there again, it's probably reasonably dissipated by the by the, the mashed potatoes, I would assume. But let's add a little bit of hot sauce. Always bring a little sachet of hot sauce with you, huh? That's the ticket. Oh, there you go. There's a little ramen bomb for you. Little ramen bomb cooking show. And we might do some other combinations of this in the future if you guys enjoy this sort of thing. But the big question is, what do you put in your ramen bomb? What's your preferred ramen bomb combination? I'd love to hear from you. Leave it in the comments down below, as well as any suggestions you'd like to see for future videos. If you'd like to send anything in to be reviewed, P.O. Box is in the description. If you'd like to support the channel, Patreon's down in the description. And then like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.